And I would like to introduce our next speaker, Emily Rosa. She focuses on the digital fashion retail experiences, new models of digital ownership, and contributing to research in the field. Her background is in art direction for digital retail, as well as a brand strategy. Her missions are revolutionary sustainability, social equality, and bringing art to the everyday.
Hi, thank you so much for the introduction. Can I go ahead and share my screen? Yes, beautiful. All right, is that showing? Great, thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm Emily. I'm the founder of Gravity the Studio. We create virtual fantasy couture as wearable NFTs for social media and metaverses. Why? Why do we do that? So our main inspiration was this cultural taboo of outfit of the day. It's a notion that you cannot wear any outfit more than one time on social media. We've estimated that 1.2 million items are bought every month just for show on social media and then discarded. As many of us are aware, the results of this are that they go to landfills or it's incinerated. As a result of producing this much waste, fashion has drastic impacts on our water consumption, plastic production, and carbon in the atmosphere. Interestingly, the people who engage in these kind of purchasing behaviors know that it's bad. They feel guilty about it, and they continue to do it anyway. There's some really significant psychological motivators behind why we're behaving like this. And primarily, fashion satisfies our motivations for belonging, right? It boosts our self-esteem, and it's the foremost way that we express ourselves to the outward world. And brands and retailers are happy to encourage overbuying. But all this begs the question, if a garment is only being shown for social media, does it need to actually physically exist at all? Today, we at Gravity Studio are addressing social media, right? You choose one of our digital outfits, you upload your photo, and it realistically appears that you are wearing it in that photo, but it never has to get manufactured. This is most of what we're doing right now because that's the technology that we have. But tomorrow, we're going to be addressing the metaverse. Ultimately, we believe that self-expression can transcend physical limitations, fitting every body without environmental destruction. We are minting all of our designs as NFTs because, of course, the limited editions are more valuable, you have no counterfeiting, and buyers can resell their NFTs. Okay, cool. No, but really, blockchain allows us to do some cool stuff in fashion. While most NFT collectibles struggle for a way to be displayed to others, this is inherent property of wearable NFTs. You can show it off in any number of media. Owners can wear their designs in different metaverses, while previously owned items were limited to the individual platform that you acquired it from. And we've actually created a passive monetization method that resembles staking, but for NFTs. Owners of our NFTs can rent out virtual wares to others, for example, social media users, and earn a commission every single time that happens. So we've interviewed hundreds of people in the development of what we're doing, and we've discovered that our different audiences want different things from our products, right? NFT collectors want the assurance of a profit more than the chance of a future increased market value of that NFT. So we allow them to rent wares of the NFTs to influencers. Influencers are happy with this because they don't want the high initial cost of an NFT or the hassle of reselling it. They just want to wear it once. Meanwhile, photographers of influencers specifically struggle to collect and maintain collections of dramatic clothes for their clients to rent from them. And they have to maintain them. They have to have the storage space for them. I hear a lot about how much steaming of dresses they have to do. So instead, we allow them to get their garments virtually. They can focus on taking photos, and we'll focus on dressing their clients. And then Metaverse gamers are happy buying well-designed avatar wearables for full NFT prices because they hold real-world value, as we see in the success of existing marketplaces like Decentraland. As we know, VR metaverses have gotten a lot of attention recently. Decentraland's NFT wearables market has traded in total 27 million USD in volume. And then we see startups cropping up like Ready Player Me, which already has over 600 games or metaverses using their avatars, which are then compatible with all of those platforms and can move between them. So you can pick one avatar, have your wearables for it, and then use it on, VR chat or another platform of your choosing. And we're seeing even physical brands getting in on this, from producing their marketing images digitally to AR shirt designs and digital sampling that helps brands know how much user interest there is in a product before having to actually produce it, and therefore there's no overproduction. In total, 3D fashion is going to revolutionize retail. Physical collections can be made to order instead of being overproduced. They can be fully customized and then, made to order. And brands can even offer subscription access to a digital collection. All of this is while we adopt less trend-focused wardrobes in our day-to-day lives, which are produced more slowly and can last for a longer time. So in conclusion, as we grow more immersed in our digital identities between how much time we're spending in front of screens, we're going to need more ways to express ourselves in these new identities, these new worlds. So this is where fashion has always come in and where fashion is headed now. So thanks to blockchain, we can also democratize and universalize the ownership of these items. And that's it. That's what I have for you guys. Thank you.
Wow, Emily, that's the fastest presentation we've ever seen in the past 5 years, probably, at the conference. Thank you so much. Well, I guess we have some time for questions. I'm super excited about this topic. I guess you still have time to hang out with us, right?
Yes, yeah, I hurried right on through that. My apologies. I got excited. Yeah, questions, please.
Does anybody in the audience have questions at the moment? If not, then I have quite a lot, actually.
Absolutely.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I seem to be outnumbered as the only male here, possibly. Apologies if you've already mentioned this. Do you think that each person would be able to have their own 3D image avatar, and then you could try on different styles and fashions to see exactly how you look?
Definitely. We're seeing really interesting things being developed in terms of 3D body scanning, where we're using machine learning to just from an image be able to create an avatar of a person. And we're seeing companies start to adopt these sorts of virtual avatar try-on practices for physical clothing. And then there's all kinds of services being developed for example, metaverse avatars as well.
So, thank you for that. It's certainly a very interesting area. And how forward is that? Is it early days, or is it actually happening with bigger companies?
So we definitely see larger companies. Fashion industry tends to be extremely traditional, right? So we're seeing slow adoption. But if you interview actual buyers, they're very interested in virtual try-on services, right? There's a lot of pain points in that, when the more that we're buying online post-pandemic, the more problems we have with increased returns, because people are buying things and they don't know how it's going to look on them. They're not sure how it's going to fit. So they are basically wanting, consumers are reporting that they want a virtual try-on experience. So yeah, I think hopefully in the future it will continue to adopt, which will reduce waste really.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's great to hear.
Thank you, Chris, for your question. Emily, my question is, when you did research about the target audience, and I could see the different avatars that you presented, from Gen Zs and to right to probably Gen X, and who do you think is the biggest buyer of NFTs, and where's the market? Which country, and what's the trend?
Certainly. So we are mostly seeing NFTs being bought by ages 25 through 34, interestingly. Actually, these generations that are older than you might expect are the ones that are producing the most fashion waste. It actually tends to be, shockingly, at least in America, Gen X is actually producing more more wear it once than any others, which is shocking and not what you would expect, but that's what the statistics are telling us. Interestingly, younger generations are starting to question that a bit. However, that audience also happens to overlap with the group that's buying more NFTs. And it's important to note that you've got Ethereum NFTs. We are minting on the Polygon blockchain because it's more eco-friendly. And certainly we hope that others will move to more eco-friendly blockchains as well. But yeah, we are actually seeing a pretty significant gender mix, and a lot from the US as well as Russia and China. Yeah, those are kind of the largest groups that we're seeing.
Wow, this is very exciting. We didn't think this is coming, actually. And people from Russia will be one of the biggest markets, actually, who are going to buy NFTs. So what do you think is the future of fashion and metaverse? Where we're all going, and how does it look like for your company as well?
Sure. So with fashion, we really believe that as technology continues to advance, we have, for example, the LiDAR scanner that's just appearing in everyday iPhones now, which allows really advanced AR body scanning. So we're seeing fashion that's wearable instantaneously in AR. It's not high quality yet, right? It kind of like bounces in and out of your body, but that's progressing. We're building on it. And as we develop 5G so that games can process faster processors in phones, we're going to see more photorealistic development in our VR worlds, AR. And so that will really allow, I think, groups that have dragged their feet in adopting these sorts of things start to get into it. I think we're going to see more and more traditional fashion brands adopting this. We're already seeing, for example, Louis Vuitton developed a collection just for League of Legends, an esports game. We're seeing some luxury fashion brands start to mint as NFTs. We also can start to see blockchain implemented in the supply chain, and that you can track the origins of something that's manufactured, right? Like you can, wherever the cotton's produced, can start with it, and then it gets transferred to next stage of manufacturing for more transparent supply chains, right? So certainly there are implications for blockchain in, as I'm sure I'll talk about, in physical fashion as well as digital fashion. In terms of metaverse growth, we're expecting, especially blockchain metaverses, to grow by at least tenfold in the next 10 years, minimum, absolute minimum. So for this, we're all going to need to be dressing ourselves in these. And we certainly see already that, if you look at Decentraland's wearables market, for example, the more like fantastic garments, more fantastic designs are the ones that are selling for the most and are the most popular for like the real like diehards who are into it. So yeah, it's someone's going to need to be designing all of these pieces for all of these worlds that we're interacting with. So.
Thank you, Emily. I have a question about your marketing strategy. How do people find out about you? How do you market your services and your garments that you're able to produce them? Are you going to B2Bs, B2Cs? How do you actually help people find out about the services that you provide?
Sure. So primarily, we operate in content marketing. So we are really active on Instagram for the influencer audiences and on Twitter for the crypto collector audiences. And we're seeing our rates of adoption, like I think we've been like doubling week over week in terms of our follower counts and things like that, as well as blog posts and networking. We are definitely also talking with Metaverse startups about integrating in their platforms, which then introduces us to their audiences as well.
How long does it take to produce a fashion garment for one avatar? Do you know?
Yes. So it depends on how complex it is, right? These examples here that I show, so we created all of these, right? For example, the one in the middle is actually composed of 18 individual pieces of simulated chiffon. And we are basically arranging those by draping on a solid bodice underlying. So this, the design process was one whole part, getting the sketch together. The actual production took about 12 hours. Like we even have like wind simulators underneath the layers of fabric to keep them lifted. And then modeling it on any individual photo, all of these took about 4 hours. So it's actually a pretty labor intensive process right now. We're developing some technologies to help with matching the pose of a photo, which helps the process go along faster. But it is actually a process that requires quite a bit of craftsmanship for being something that's digital. And a lot of people don't think about that.
Wow, this chiffon looks actually so real that I cannot comprehend that this is something digital. It looks really, really real. Another question. Sorry for so many questions.
No,
so
please.
it's just the idea of producing all these beautiful garments, digital garments. I do understand that the technology is pretty complicated, and you mentioned Polygon. What is the technology? Can you tell more about the technology behind the process? What kind of engines are you using? And yeah, in comparison, and how does it compare with Ether platform, for example? There are platforms that create NFTs and technologies that are running on Ethereum ecosystem. And why Polygon is better for what you do?
Sure. So we decided to adopt Polygon. This is a better question for my CTO. She's fantastic. Her background is in blockchain development. So she works on that side. I work on the 3D side. She basically has decided that we should run on Polygon because it's so compatible with Ethereum and Ethereum protocol. So we can, operate on OpenSea and like really popular blockchain marketplaces. While also benefiting from the way faster transactions, so lower transaction fees, much more eco-friendly. So basically, yeah, the compatibility and combined with the speed and efficiency of the network was our choice for Polygon.
That's amazing.
I have another question.
Yeah, Chris.
would you consider the synergy between the physical and the digital designs, where new materials and technology come together in a sustainable way? For example, dressing all your avatars in a sustainable material. If there's a demand for a throwaway culture, could you come up with some material that you could wear for a week and recycle, whether it's done on paper or something like that?
So,
would you
understand that correctly.
consider promoting sustainability more rather than, you know, clothes that might not be traditionally that sustainable?
That's a really interesting thought. Our approach to, we definitely have considered how we promote more physical sustainable practices as well. And so some of the ways we're doing that is less in the design of individual products and more in how we are retailing, right? So not only are our products, most people will just want to wear them once, but what we do is, because they're resellable, we are trying to instill the idea that even a digital item holds value after you wear it. As well as, since it's all rentable, we are trying to instill the idea that, yeah, like it's worth re-wearing, like maybe someone else, I mean, it's digital, right? No one has actually physically touched this. However, we want to instill these more sustainable physical clothing practices of sharing and reusing in how we're retailing even our digital items. Yeah. In terms of like materials, we've really gone full fantasy in our design. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, but it would be nice if the digital, where digital meets physical, which promotes sustainability.
That's an interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Thank you. Thank you.
We have a question from Natalia. Do you think digital fashion incentivizing consumption patterns we have developed, and what does that do to our mental health? That's a question. Very good one.
It's a really good question. So our approach to that is that we ultimately believe people should be consuming less, like hands down. That is the goal. We should not be consuming so much physically. We should also be happy with what we have, right? As we have discovered, and in all of our user interviews and all of our research, is that people aren't ready for that. People are very determined to overbuy right now. It's a big cultural problem, and it's something that's going to take a long time to fix. So our thinking is that the planet doesn't have a long time for us to fix this, right? We have to make changes now. So our social media solution is currently a band-aid over a very significant cultural problem of that we need to be buying less. We need to be mindful of what we're producing. And I so love that we're actually seeing a movement of more influencers saying, no, I am going to rewear my clothes. You've seen it, and I'm going to wear it again. And that's intentional. And I think, I mean, that's a crucial movement that we need to be moving towards. Again, it's like a lot of mentalities aren't there yet. And we're finding it absolutely incorrigible. People are like, no, it's just how I'm going to be. So in the meantime, this is our solution. Yeah.
My experience is young people are very engaged and very willing to buy secondhand clothes.
Definitely.
I've halved my wardrobe because my two sons have basically stolen my clothes. Hanging in there for over 20 years. I'm serious, but they were good quality, kept, not thrown out. So
yeah,
I found that amazing.
We yeah, I mean, personally, my entire wardrobe is secondhand. Like everything I have is from a charity shop. And fortunately, we are seeing younger generations care more, which is, I think, why we see more habits of where it once culture in actually older generations, not the Gen Z. They are more willing to buy secondhand. And if you look at, for example, the kind of digital native culture, so many other industries have shifted to the sharing modes of ownership. Like Uber, you don't own a car, you just call it up on your phone and you access it. Netflix, digital access. Spotify, digital access. So the fashion industry right now is still very fixed on physical ownership. And so we see what we're doing, as well as rental models and secondhand models, as moving fashion into a sharing economy as well, which younger generations are very open to.
Yeah, I have also a few questions to you. We still have a few minutes with you. Bear with us. Really exciting subjects. Yeah, how old is your company? When did you start?
This originally started as master's research for me back in early 2019. Pandemic happened and changed some things. It kind of accelerated the whole field. This business was officially incorporated as of April 2021, conveniently an Earth Day. And so it's really kind of taken a head start since then. We've definitely iterated a number of times trying to decide what our style is going to be and what our philosophies are going to be, the underlying technology to what we're doing. Yeah.
Right. Did you do research on how many other similar agencies or companies you have?
Yes, we're definitely seeing more appear, right? And so you have existing marketplaces, virtual marketplaces like DressX, which during the pandemic, good for them, their sales were doubling month over month. They are not blockchain enabled. They are, you just buy one wear on social media, basically, is a lot of the models we see out there. So the incorporation of blockchain is a far newer concept. But we are also starting to see more digital fashion creators. Traditionally, you would have, you have your fashion students who are working entirely physically in traditional ways, and you have the gaming industry, which wants nothing to do with the fashion industry. So there's actually a huge skills gap between fashion and 3D. So we're starting to see universities, especially since the pandemic, teach students the software more. Which is making a huge difference in its uptake, as well as more virtual fashion brands appearing.
Okay, great. And also my second question is about the price points of your garment pieces. And I understand there's a different target groups, but yeah, just a range of your price.
Sure. So the NFTs, so buying the full price object, NFT from us, depends on the edition count. So ones with five editions started about $450 US. Ones with editions of one, for example, this water dress at the end, we only created, oh, where is it? There we are. This one just sold for $2,500 US. There was only one of it. When you want to rent a wear of one of these items, it is 10% of the overall NFT purchase price. And so the whoever owns the NFT then makes a portion of that.
That's smart. You can rent it. I love it. Amazing. Thanks a lot.
Oh, we have two more questions. One question is from Dennis. He's asking, it seems like he missed the beginning. Why do we need blockchain for this? Why we cannot just create a digital product and sell it? Why blockchain? And why it is so important right now, especially for the industry?
We incorporated, let's find that slide. Blockchain allows us to do basically allow virtual fashion to more mimic physical ownership, right, and traditional ownership models. So we do have virtual fashion brands coming up that do not incorporate blockchain, like DressX as an example. They're a really successful virtual fashion marketplace. And so you're buying the service of having your this virtual dress basically modeled onto a photo of you. And that's the start and the end of that transaction. With blockchain, we are able to instill more value into that item. So you can actually buy the NFT copy of that item, and therefore collect it, resell it, rent it out. So it basically allows more of a life, more of a trend, like a sense of ownership and responsibility for this design.
Mhm. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. That was great. It was short one, but we made it long.
Thank you. No, I appreciate the questions. Filling in my significant gaps there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thanks a lot.